Hey everyone, welcome back to the Top 100. Today we're going through 60 through 51. Apologies for my voice. I'm dealing with getting over a cold, and it's been a bear. Yeah. So without further ado, let's go to number 60. This is Suburbia. Oh, I left off the thing here. So Suburbia has been on the list all 5 years. It started at 21, actually, back in 2020. Um, this is a game about laying down these cool little tiles here to create a suburb, basically. And so you have things here like office building, warehouse, apartments, things like that. The really interesting thing about this game, yes, it's a fun spatial puzzle of laying out, drafting, kind of a draft, like, and buying these tiles and laying them out so that you maximize their points. But one of the most interesting things about Suburbia is you have these two different tracks that you're working on. One is your population, and one is your money. Um, and you have reputation, which increases your population, and you have income, which increases your money. But population, as it goes up, it is the points for the game. So whoever has the most population at the end of the game wins. But as it goes up, it also knocks down both your income and your reputation. So then you get less money and less population as the game goes on. And so it's kind of a little bit of a balancing of trying to make sure that you're getting points, but not too early. And then finally, you do have like that push to get to the most points. I really like it. That's Suburbia, number 60. Number 59 is the only one in this 10 that I do not own. This is the fifth highest new game to the list. This is called Moon Colony Bloodbath. Moon Colony Bloodbath is a game by Donald X. Vaccarino. It's the third highest of his on this list, I should say. The guy who made Dominion. I guess that's a spoiler, but whatever. Uh, yeah, Moon Colony Bloodbath is a deck building game, but instead of building your own deck, you're building this joint deck in the middle, and you all have your own little colonies on the moon, and things obviously don't go horribly wrong because the name the name is Moon Colony Bloodbath. But the way it works is you have these people, you're building these buildings, and then you also get these robots. But the robots unfortunately malfunction and kill people and destroy buildings and things like that. It is a tableau builder where you're building out all these buildings, which is great, and whoever has the most population at the end wins. But the game ends when someone's entire tableau is destroyed and all their population is gone. So the early parts of the game are still spent building up your tableau, and as the game goes on, you have to start destroying your buildings and destroying your buildings, and eventually you're left with shambles. Some people really hate that idea. I think it's really fun. It's a twist on traditional tableau building, twist on traditional deck building. Really neat. Moon Colony Bloodbath. Number 58 is a traditional deck builder. This is an older game. It was not on the list last year for whatever reason. It was on the list the other three times. This is Marvel Legendary, or Legendary, a Marvel deck building game or something is what they call it. This game is one of the two deck builders that I have so many cards for. Nowhere near everything, but look at this. This is just all cards. I don't know if I have room for another expansion. I don't think I need another expansion. There are so many different characters in here. This is a semi-cooperative game, meaning that you're all kind of working together. You could all lose, but if you all win, then whoever has the most points wins the most. I think that's fine. Yeah, so semi-coop's all right. Some people again really hate that. The most fun thing about this, like the mechanics are fine, but the theming. You can just choose like who do you want to see? You want to see the X Men go up against Magneto? Classic. You can see that. Do you want to see the Avengers go up against Magneto? Do you want to see the X Men go up against the Avengers? Like you can do this sort of thing. You want to have like Blade and Daredevil and other people going up against vampires. As long as you got the right expansions for it, you can do it. So the theming of Marvel is really fun. I will say the last time I played the game was a bit of a slog, so you got to be kind of careful how you set up the game because sometimes you can get in a situation where it's just like, will this game ever end? Eventually it does, but it's a good game, I swear. Marvel Legendary. Number 57 was not on the list last year, but it was on the list before the year before that. This is Hadara. A simple reason why it came back on the list, I played it. I played it actually fairly recently. A group of my friends were like, let's play a game that's on Board Game Arena that very few of us know, so we can just have more games that we know. And so I pulled out Hadara along with a bunch of other ones. And this is it has some similarities to Seven Wonders in that you're drafting cards and building like it's a civilization game. But really, as opposed to Seven Wonders, in this one you're really focusing on these tracks. So you got four different tracks for like military, culture, food, and money. And each card that you draft is increasing those things. Also, like if you get a red card, then it decreases the cost of all red cards in the future by one. So a little bit like kind of Splendor in there, which is really neat. The drafting is interesting in that you're doing like two different rounds of drafting. One of them is, and neither of them is traditional. You're not like just taking a card and passing it to the left. You are, excuse me, instead like looking at two cards from the top of the stack, choosing one and discarding the other one face up. But then after everyone's discarded all these cards, then you start going through and drafting the discarded cards one by one, which is really neat. Uh, yeah, I really like it. It's I feel like that's what I'm saying today. This is my thing. I really like it. Very sage. But certainly an underrated civilization building game that plays pretty quickly and is really cool. That's Hadara. Number 56 is the fourth year on the list. This is the farthest. Last year was 32. As farthest has fallen, but this is certainly the highest party game on the list. This is Just One. If the only reason it's probably fallen is because I played it too much. This is kind of my go-to with either with kids or with people who really aren't super into board games, just to show them what it's like. Just One, it's really cool. I mean, it, it's a cooperative game where one person is trying to guess a word on a card in front of them from the clues everyone else gives. Everyone else can give only one word clues. So their example on the front here is chocolate, and people write these things: milk, sweet, white, dark, Belgian, hazelnuts, etc. But if two people write the same word, then the person who's guessing doesn't get to see that word. And so it's really this interesting kind of balance of, do I want to be clever and say things like my classic was, I think what was the word was like neighborhood, and I put horse because horse says neigh, and no one liked that. I don't know why. It's a great clue. I swear by that one. Um, yeah, Just One, really a great game to play with people who are not super into games. Everyone enjoys this one. Number 56. Number 55 is the opposite of a game that everyone enjoys. This is a heavier game. I'd say medium game, really. But this is Age of Empires 3, The Age of Discovery. This was later released with something else that was not the Age of Empires 3 branding. This has been on the list all 5 years, started off at 19. This is the lowest it's gone just because I haven't played it much, but what a great game. In this game, you are essentially European powers trying to get things from the New World. The theme's a little, but the way that it works is you have all these different strategies, and it's a worker placement game, and you can sometimes get these unique workers. So like normally your guy is just worth one for everything he does, but if you get a captain, the captain is worth two for exploration and this other thing like bidding for the merchant ships. Very much an economy game with a little bit of like worker majority. Really an older game that isn't talked about that much anymore, I don't think, but it's really quite excellent. I do think there's an expansion that I'd love to find that's way out of print. That's the Builders, and I'd like to have that, but I need to play this again regardless. Just a super cool game, and plays 5 without too much of a hassle, and that's something. That's Age of Empires 3. Number 54 was new last year. It has moved up from 83. This is the smallest game in this top 10. This is Coloretto. In Coloretto, which is the precursor to Zularetto, which used to be on my top 100. In Coloretto, you're drafting these cards, but the real problem is, and they're just these cute little like chameleons. That's the word. Wow, I can't find any of the good cards. So like different colored cards. These are an expansion, I think, the multicolored ones. But as you're drafting these cards, you're like, oh, I really want to get those. But what you don't want to do is get too many or not enough. The real, you don't want to get too many different colors, because if you get too many different colors, like only your top two, I think it is, score. I don't know. I need to play this one again. It's just a really quick and fast game that it's a lot of fun. I know I played this at Origins one year, and I was like, ooh, this is great. And then I picked up a copy of the thrift store, so that's really cool. Also played, I think, this with Brad and Jenny, I think, last year. Maybe the year before. Who knows? Time is a mystery. It doesn't really exist. That was 54, Colorado. Number 53 is Flourish. This was 39 last year. Um, Not this past Christmas, but the Christmas before. We played this a ton with Chris and Elaine and Hannah and Sarah and Marianne, and it was great. It's still great. I just haven't played it very much since then. I played it a little bit. Um, the thing with this game is it is a drafting game, and the art is beautiful. You know, you're trying to get these flowers and trees and things, but the drafting is really interesting in that you have a hand of cards. Excuse me. You're choosing one to play, one to pass to your left, one to pass to your right, and three to keep. Three to keep, maybe two to keep. Regardless, the fact that you can hang on to cards until later on in the round means you can actually like kind of build your strategy. Like you can have a card in your starting hand and keep it until the very end of the game. And that is so much different than so much different. Is that the right word? So much different than most drafting games where you're just like, oh, I hope this card comes back to me. No, you can ensure that. So it definitely puts quite a twist on it. There is some fun little expansions that come in this version. This is the signature edition. Uh, yeah, Amy convinced me to get this because there was a local game store that was going out of business. So all the games were half off. And I was like, okay, well, yeah, we'll give it a try. She had already played it. And yeah, great call. Really good game. That's Flourish. Number 52 has been on the list all 5 years. This is actually slightly higher than it's been before. And this is St. Petersburg. I played this on Board Game Arena a few times. I don't think I played it in person for a while. St. Petersburg, famously not the best art. It's fine. And it's really not that bad. I don't know what people get up all the fuss about. This is a game where you are drafting cards and playing them. You're drafting them like from the middle of the table and buying them and playing them. And this is a game where you can absolutely screw yourself over. If you make a mistake, especially early in the game, you could just be completely out of the game. Like this is not a forgiving game. It is another game where if you buy a card, then each card of the same name you have a discount of one in the future. It's, so kind of like Hadara, and actually a lot like Suburbia, even more so, this game has that whole thing where early on you want to go for economy and later on you want to go for points. And making that switch as to when you decide to go for points, that's the key to doing well at the game. There's also some interesting things with players determining when the game ends based on when one of the four decks runs out. Really cool, really interesting. Certainly not everyone's cup of tea, but I really like it. That's St. Petersburg. And finally, the only roll and write on this top 10. This is 51. It was 75 last year, 21 the year before that. This is Dinosaur Island Roar and Write. Actually, just played this a couple days ago. Um, it's a really cool roll and write that takes maybe a little too long. This is one of those roll and writes where you have two sheets of paper. So you're working on like two different things. One of them is like, what dinosaurs are you getting? And like, how dangerous is your park? And then the other side, and what's your park layout? And then the other side is like, here's all of these, like, what happens when we do a tour through our dinosaur park, see if anybody dies, what staff do we want to hire, things like that. This is another one that Amy convinced me to get. I was a little bit skeptical because I got Dinosaur Island out of the library one time and I couldn't even get through the rule book because the aesthetic and the vibe of the whole thing is gross. Not to have strong opinions or anything. Uh, but yeah, Dinosaur Island Roaring Right. Like I really like the art of this one. I think it works. It's not so ugly. And yeah, it's just trying to maintain having a cool park with lots of excitement, but not having too many people die is a fun balance. And like the theme works well. That's Dinosaur Island. Roaring Right. I really like it. I said it again. There we go. Glad to get one of these done, despite being under the weather lately. And as a final thing, shout out to Jimmy, who I sometimes shout out in these things, but he helped me fix my furnace this week, and I really appreciate it, Jimmy. So I will teach you Agricola one of these days here, which is not on the top 100 anymore, though. It very much used to be. Maybe he'll jump back up after I play with Jimmy. Who knows? Hope you have a great day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.